So recently, I saw a post on Tumblr that asked the question if AEW is popular in Japan. The OP listed out the top 20 favorite pro wrestling companies that were voted by readers of Weekly Pro Wrestling magazine. And well, let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. This is me, Randy, and welcome back to 123 Idol. As we could see with the top 20 pro wrestling companies that were favorites of the readers of Weekly Pro Wrestling magazine, we can see that the top 5 companies are New Japan Pro Wrestling, Stardom, DDT Pro, All Japan Pro Wrestling, and Pro Wrestling Noah. This is, of course, a really great top 5 list, and I think these are all really great companies that are in the top 5. But the company that I want to talk about real quick is none other than DDT Pro Wrestling. They are a pro wrestling company that I've talked about quite a few times here on 123 Idol, and I'm so happy to see that they were listed as the top 3 of this ranking list. DDT is such a fun, such an interesting, and such a unique pro wrestling company that has the perfect balance of amazing, great comedy and entertainment, but also great professional wrestling. And I'm so glad to see that a lot of people that are pro wrestling fans in Japan agrees with me. And I'm also really happy to see a lot of really great Joshi pro wrestling companies being on this list, such as Stardom, Marvel, which by the way, that company isn't even a full year old yet. Sendai Girls, Marvelous. It's really great to see a lot of Joshi companies being featured in the top 20. It's also really interesting seeing Dragon Gate in Big Japan so high as well, especially Dragon Gate. I know over the past few years, Dragon Gate has been really popular, and I'm so happy to see that Dragon Gate is in the top 10 of this list, as well as Michinoku Pro and Freedoms. I'm happy to see that they are in the top 20 as well. I think those are two really cool companies, especially Michinoku Pro. They've been around for a very long time, so I'm glad to see that Michinoku Pro is still striving and doing well. But the question that was asked by the OP is AEW popular in Japan? And as you can see here, WWE and AEW are in the bottom tier of this list. I'm not surprised that WWE and AEW are so low for this list because, of course, in a huge pro wrestling market like Japan, there's a lot of really great companies that are running and operating, and knowing that AEW and WWE are two really big companies internationally and globally, I'm not surprised seeing that both of these companies are so low on the list. AEW has a lot of really great talent that either worked in Japan or currently is working in Japan or are Japanese wrestlers, so I'm a bit surprised that they're tad lower than WWE. I know that WWE do have a big following in Japan, but at the same time, I'm kind of surprised that AEW is one spot lower than WWE. So, what do you think about this top 20 list? Is there any other promotions or companies that you think should be added to the list? Or what about the rankings? Do you think there's any companies that should be ranked higher or lower? What do you think? And tell me in the comment section down below.